Hello, market researchers. This is Mark Dresner coming to you from the market research event on Tuesday, the 9th. This is our second day, actually our first official day of the actual general session. And I have with me Miss Johanna Skilling. She is the Chief Strategy Officer of Saatchi and Saatchi Wellness. So she's actually in an interesting position for a market researcher because you have strategy in your title. I've actually interviewed Johanna before, so this should be some fun. But first of all, I'd like to know, could you tell us a little bit about, is this your first time at the market research event?
First time at the market research event.
Okay. What attracted you?
Well, I was lucky enough to be asked to speak, which was very attractive, but also the idea of getting together with so many good people, seeing the roster of people, seeing Jonah Lehrer, who's one of my literary heroes of the moment, and chance to come out to San Diego and meet everybody.
Terrific, terrific. When you were thinking about coming here, did you put together an agenda based on the brochure, the program of what you wanted to learn, what you wanted to take back, and how successful have you been at getting there?
The problem was that there were more things on each agenda track at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock than I wanted to go to, so I'm glad a lot of them are being taped so I can go back and look. So my program is full of little circles and stars and notes, and I've been tweeting some of my notes so I can save them. So I've been doing a lot of tweeting, but as much for me than for anything else. So yeah, there's almost too much here to take in the session.
You've spoke on the beginning of our symposia day yesterday about the Saatchi Wellness study, and some of the results have yet to be released. But can you tell us what was interesting? We have a podcast on this on the website that Johanna and I did together. Basically, this is the second iteration for you. Social media was used the first time around. And can you tell us a little bit about your presentation, what you revealed to the audience yesterday?
Well, I was really delighted to be able to do this, that we were able to talk about wellness the way we define it, which is not necessarily about the standard things of just nutrition or just fitness, but whole feelings of well-being as it applies to every part of your life, from your relationship to your bank account, to your sex life, to the products you buy. So we're able to talk about the changes we've been tracking from 2008, 2009, 2010, and while some of the numbers in the survey are still embargoed for a couple of weeks, I was able to offer everybody who wanted to a chance to give me their contact info, and when the results are public, happy to share them. So I was able to really make some great connections with people, and people have come up to me and said how much it resonated, not just professionally, but even personally, that they were feeling some of those waves, which was really nice. Yeah.
Well, that says you were probably right on there. Now, we had some methodological issues going into both iterations of this study. Do you want to expound on those for a couple seconds for us?
Well, as people saw in the study, we really wanted to say something profound, but it takes some money, and we didn't have it because in an agency, in every company, you have to make choices, strategic choices about funding, and this was just as important as it was. We just couldn't spend the money on it. So we made the decision, and Mark knows this, I was kind of reluctant to go to social media for the participation. And the trade-off was time, but we got great results. This year with a partner, who again I can reveal soon, we were able to use their panel. So we had what Mark calls, and a term I've stolen from you, called multimodal research, which used... you gave it to me, I'm giving you credit, at least here. So we were able to use the panel and a website and social media, and so it was both a more stable audience and a rich audience with some learnings from last year to this year. And we found really good tracking on the questions that track with other papers and other things we've been seeing from other research studies, so we can kind of gauge the viability of it.
Do you have any advice for anyone who might be looking at a similar type of situation that you were the first go-around, maybe into the second?
Well, the first piece of advice is if you want to find something out, do it. Tom LaForge from Coca-Cola actually said he does a lot of great research just hitting the search engines. I agree. So if you do that and get your body of research and then ask people the questions you want answered, you have a nice benchmark to decide if your sample is pretty good or not. And what I think you find is if you talk to enough people, 500 people go out on the street and talk to people, you get enough of a sense of what's going on. So it may not be X percentage of the population does this, but it's a great way to look at trends and forecast them and intuitively figure out what's happening in your area. And I'm very high on the idea, and I'll do it again for new questions we want to ask.
Based on your experience, what do you think, and what you've heard the last 2 days, what do you think this says about where market research, consumer insights, however you want to couch it, is going in the next year or two?
Well, I think it's going in the way of a lot of things in our society, which is it's being democratized so that everybody's voice counts, and there are a lot of on-the-ground ways to achieve things. You can choose great partners who can help you, so I don't think it means the death of market researchers because they have the time and the bandwidth sometimes that we might not if given every other responsibility.
Right.
But it's another way to expand what we're able to do. It's not siloed, it's not a glass box kind of function anymore. It's sort of like personal computers. There's still computing companies, but everybody's got a desktop. Same thing with market research. Everybody is somewhat more empowered.
Okay, great. And on some level, I'm sensing a slackening of the rules and also an increased complexity. How do you navigate that moving forward?
Well, I thought there was such a fabulous juxtaposition just now with Michael Garvin and Jonah Lehrer, because Michael talked about the statistical validity of things and gave a very fascinating presentation about new ways to look at statistics and to think about them. And segmentation. And Jonah talks about these emotional drivers and the metacognition, and they're both there. And I think you're right, it's more complex, but I think people are starting to understand the levers in ways that we have more choices about what to look at and how to evaluate. And I think that's exciting.
Terrific. I think so too. Any final thoughts for our audience?
Great convention. Come next year.
Well, that about says everything I could. And we did not pay Johanna, by the way, to say that. Thank you very, very much.
Pleasure. Thank you.